get to talk about the dreaded S word, the shank. It's something you never want to have visit you. You never wanted to have it come on part of your game, but you know, at least let's give you some knowledge of why it happens so that if it ever does, you know how to get out of it. Bottom line, when you go to hit your chip shots, there's too much tension in your hands. The grip leads, not the club head. The hosel wins, and the face effectively is open. The other big thing is your weight has got to be on your toes. And all you got to do is relax your hands and arms, stay off your toes a little bit. When you swing, stay relaxed and stay back. You can just follow those basics. You'll understand in here why it happened, how to avoid it, and you can always hit your chips like that.
If you're struggling with your chip shots around the greens, it'll help you to get an understanding as to what needs to happen to get the golf ball in the air. And what I see a lot of players do if they're not hitting it solid, the fear is they're trying to get the golf ball in the air. And what I tend to see is their weight tends to go back and they tend to try and swing up on the ball as opposed to hitting down on the ball. It's important to remember that when you're setting up to hit these little chip shots, the golf ball is on the ground and the golf club is on the ground. And it's important that you remember you've got to get the club back down to the position it started in. And we need the sole of the golf club to contact the grass. That's going to allow you to use the bounce, and it's also going to allow you to keep your speed going in the golf swing. A lot of times that fear of hitting bad chip shots, as your body slows down and as your speed slows down, the golf club can either hit too far behind the ball or you can catch the middle of the golf ball and hit that one thin. So golf ball and the golf club are on the ground at address, and make sure that you get the club back down to the position it started, and don't have that fear. Go ahead and be aggressive, keep your speed up, and you'll start to get the golf ball in the air and you'll start to hit better shots.
One of the things in amateur competition in these Champions Tour Pro-Ams is there's so much fear from the amateurs in hitting chips. They almost feel like they're going to putt it out of the heavy rough around the green rather than chip it. And it's a very simple thing, David. Most of the guys have a nice little chip stroke, but the problem comes when they got the ball in the wrong position in their stance. And I had a chance to talk to a couple of my amateurs today about that very thing. And so many times when an amateur misses a green, when a pro misses the green, now you might be able to putt it off this fringe, but for the TV, we're just going to go ahead and do this. You'll see an amateur make a practice stroke, get up, and then just make a swing and scull their shot. Well, I said to my amateur partner today, look where your club hit the ground first. Why do you have the ball in this position? Doesn't it make sense to have the ball placed on the ground where the club makes first contact? So he said, wow, that does make sense. It's basically common sense. So what I do and what a lot of guys do on tour, and you'll see that when you're watching television on the Golf Channel or NBC, you'll see a lot of the pros make multiple practice swings when they're hitting a chip shot. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to see where the club makes contact first on the ground. You may have a lie that's got a downhill stance. It may be above your feet, below your feet. All of the conditions change. That's why you need to be able to check to see where the club makes contact first on the ground. So what I had my amateur do today was simply make a few practice strokes, and you can see that I'm roughing up the ground just opposite my right toe. I then had him move in, put the ball in that position where the club made first contact, and go ahead and chip. And he was shocked. It's really an instant fix. If you pay attention to where the ball is played in your stance, it's where the club first makes contact with the ground.
Have you ever heard the phrase, you got the wrong end of the stick? Well, Eddie Merrins, that great golf coach from UCLA, had it so very right when he told people to swing the handle with the arms. Now, what did he mean by that? Well, every golf club obviously has two ends. It has a head end, and it has what you might call a handle end, a grip end. Most people, I've got a 50-yard pitch here, most people with this shot would try and lift it, and in so doing, they're going to use the head of the club and move it with the hands. Bad idea. Much better to do as Eddie Merrins suggested, and that is to swing the handle with the arms. The ultimate anti-scoop thought, that as you go back here, swing the handle, swing the grip with the arms. If you swing the handle with the arms, you'll have a very different motion than swinging the club head with the hands. So here we go. For Eddie Merrins, swing the handle with the arms. It'll give you a feeling of dragging the club through. Swing the handle with the arms, and if you do that, good contact is almost assured.
Right, little chipping challenge for you guys. This is a death chip. Where are we, Rory? We're in Portugal. What course are we at?
Val de Pinta.
Val de Pinta in Portugal, courtesy of Your Golf Travel. Rory from Your Golf Travel, James from Gorilla Land,
yes.
and myself, Mark Crossfield. Downhill lie. Look at those three bad boys.
They are bad boys.
Bad boys, you. Big humps, no green to work with. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Who can get closest to the hole? And I don't care how you play it. Go up, go down, go all around. Gorilla Town, let's get stuck in. Right, here he is, Rory, the most unpopular challenge man on YouTube. How are you playing it, Mr. Unpopular? Look, that car's just going into your buggy over there, Rory, look.
That's alright.
He's got past, you're alright. Right,
No, he's off the stress.
come on then. How are you playing it, Rory? Because you are the king of challenges.
Try and run it down the hill.
You're running it.
Yeah.
Right.
Flopping it to the top of there.
Do you have to use a chip?
You have to use my 60-degree cake grind Vokey SM5.
Okay.
Rory's gone low.
That's really good.
It's not going to stop, surely. Oh my god, he's a bit. No, it keeps going. Go on.
Are you going to flop it?
I don't know. I don't. I think it's.
inside that if you
Look
flop
at
it.
your line, look at mine.
What are you on about?
Unfair.
Well, give yourself a slightly better lie. If
there,
you,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't care the lie as long as we're all in the same place.
you into the ground because
It was rolling. Yeah. You going up?
I'm flopping.
Rory's hard to beat there.
Yeah, I guess he is.
I reckon you kill it on the top of this slope. You look like an idiot, or you could.
I reckon pitch on the fringe.
I think if you pitch it whole high, it'll stop short of mine.
Not off that lie though. Not off that lie. He's just trying to get us to fin it through the back.
Yeah.
And keep his 100% 2014
I'm
Portugal
going to try and fly it there.
record. James is going with twitchy knees.
Wait!
Ooh,
Oh, just too far right.
I reckon that's going to be maybe inside.
It's definitely inside.
Yeah.
Is that inside?
That's deep inside.
Right.
Right. What are you doing?
If you kill it here and just got it down, do you reckon you'd get inside then?
Yeah, but that's very risky.
It is risky, but that's, I like risky in these challenges, James. That's why I don't win enough, because I
Yeah.
don't do the safe option, like Mr. Safe over there. I go for it. Slam dunking.
Phil Mickelson.
You tried to go up. I just don't think you can, off that lie.
I think that was as good as it could go, to be honest.
Okay. I'm going to look silly.
Okay.
That's quite, look at my shorts. I mean,
Yeah.
I've achieved it all day. I'm just going to chip it here.
Alright.
And it'll probably stay there.
Oh! Oh no. Go! Sit, 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 sit. No way. Oh, dear. It's short.
That's not short.
It's not on the... Oh no.
Spin it to win it.
Get in his grill, Jay. Get in his grill. Get in it. Get in that grill.
in it to win it, as they say.
Come on! Yes, please! One back for Team Crossfield. Come on! What's going on here? Don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel. Also, thumbs up the video, post comments. Love to hear what you guys got to say. Let's keep it social. The more we talk, the more we share, the easier this game will get for everybody. So if you want to find me on Facebook here, you can find me on Facebook. If you want to tweet me, find me on Twitter here as well. Just follow the links, all in the description. Come and join the show. Get active, get involved, get playing some better golf. Thanks for watching.
So here you are. You're just a couple feet off the green. You'd love to use your putter, but unfortunately you're not going to be able to putt it through this long rough. Unfortunately, because you are in the rough right here, you can't use your normal chip shot either. So what I want you to do is make two simple adjustments. Number one, you're going to put the ball more forward. The reason why is we've got to carry the ball over this fringe and over this rough. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to hinge the wrist just a little bit, and when you hinge the wrist just a little bit, it's going to cause the club to go down into the ground. And when you have the club going down to the ground, less rough is going to get between the ball and the blade, and it's going to make your chip shots a lot more effective.
Picture this. You've just hit a 6-iron into the par 3, it leaked a little right, bounced off the green, and now you're faced with an uphill chip back onto the green. Here are 3 things that you might consider to help you improve your uphill chips. The first thing you want to do is find good balanced athletic stance. Your weight will be more on the downhill side, your trail leg, just because of gravity. You want to be sure that your shoulders and your hip line are parallel to the slope. You also want to be able to take some rehearsal swings so you know your energy delivery through the swing, and you also see and feel where the club is getting to low point in your swing. One thing to keep in mind on an uphill slope, the uphill slope adds loft. So if you're going to use a sand wedge, you might use a gap. If you're going to use a gap wedge, you might use a pitching wedge. Once you've set yourself to the hill, once you've made your rehearsal swings, then plug right into the shot, make that nice chip, hold the finish, learn how to play these uphill lies, do those practice swings, and I guarantee your uphill chips will get much closer to the hole.
You have found yourself off the fairway again. You're in trouble. You're on pine needles. The problem with this is you could slip, and the ball's setting up in the air, so you could hit behind it. So what you want to do on this shot is, first of all, set yourself up so you don't slip. So what I'm going to do is we're going to clear the pine needles away. I'm not building a stance. I'm just clearing the pine needles away. Then we're going to come in, and then from here, I'm going to stretch my arms out. Now, if I were to ground the club, what could the ball do? It could move. So I am going to hover the club above the ball, and then from here, I'm just going to go ahead and make my normal swing. Good stability from moving the pine needles, good contact from stretching my arms out, beautiful swing, you're back in play.
You know, I've got this on camera, hey? It goes in.
What I typically do in a tournament round is I'll pace my chips for one thing. Like for this example, I've already paced this chip and I've got a 24-yard pitch here. And based upon my practice, I've come to learn that with my 60-degree wedge, I tend to fly the ball 2/3 of the way and release the ball 1/3 of the way. So what I like to do is after I've paced the chip, I'll pick a spot that's 2/3 of the way there, and that's my point of focus. Rather than having it all the way at the hole, I'd seem to be more effective by picking a spot there and then trying to land the ball there.
Very consistent. Should we walk out there with the basket?
We'll go ahead and do that, yeah. So I'll go out to 24.
Okay. I won't throw your counting off.
18, rather. So this is probably the area where I'd like to land the chip.
Okay.
Now you do have to take into account this is a little downhill, so I'm going to have to adjust a yard or two the other direction, or if it's uphill, the other way. But basically this is the area I'll try to land this shot. So I'll put my little practice tool here.
And you got a little slope, so obviously you're going to go from left to right.
Right.
So now you're going to try and land it with your 60 right there on the basket.
And what this has helped me do is it changes my point of focus from all the way to the hole to just a particular spot. You know, I know if I can land my pitch around that area, it'll be a pretty good shot. So I'm going to try to land it a little short of the basket just because it's a little downhill. A little short of it.
And then it rolled it down there.
I've always felt like that the better chippers roll the ball more than they fly the ball. I mean, there's obviously times you have to loft it very high, but that rolling ball seems to be a lot more effective.
The reason you can't get your chip shots closer to the hole is club selection. So what we're going to do now is we're going to figure out which club to use in a certain situation. As you can see here, the ball's right next to the fringe, so the best bet would be to putt the ball. So I'll use my putting technique and I'll putt the ball to the hole. The reason I putted this and didn't chip it is because I didn't have much to go over. As I get further back, I've got more fringe and imperfections, something to go over. So now I'll take a ball that gets up in the air over a slight amount and then runs to the hole. So chipping technique again is set the club up on the toe, the heel's up in the air, the ball's in the middle, my weight's slightly left, and then from here I just swing my arms back and through. And as I get further away, now I'll take my sand wedge, same chipping technique. The technique doesn't change, but if you can be smarter on your club selection, you're going to chip the ball closer to the hole every time. You just hit a beautiful shot. It rolled over the green. You could putt this, chip it. There's just one problem. It's in a divot hole. So instead of taking a wedge and trying to chop it out and having it not roll to the green or stop, take your 2, 3, or 4 hybrid. We're going to put the ball way back in our stance. Our weight's going to be forward. We're going to be nice and tall. You're going to hinge your wrists and let it drop. Notice my body. There's no movement at all. As you see back here, the club just goes up and down. When we do this, there's going to be overspin, and the overspin is going to propel the ball toward the hole. The hitting down is going to get the ball over the fringe. I'll show you. So we put it back, our body's still, we're down on the handle, and we just hinge and drop. This is a really handy shot to have. This is going to save you a ton of strokes around the green anytime you're in a divot.
Find yourself catching the ball thin around the green. Generally it happens from weight falling back and we're not allowing our buttons to turn through to the target. Simple adjustment would be get your chest in front of the ball by letting your left arm run down the side of your thigh to the top of the knee. Now we're going to make a couple practice swing brushing the ground while our arms go back, and we're going to keep our chest, hands, arms, and clubs and buttons facing the target. By simply doing this motion, we can get the sensation of hitting the ground and catching the ball more solidly. And now all we're going to do is make an even pace swing going waist side to waist side, getting our chest and buttons facing the target. By doing that, will help us eliminate the thin shots around the green.
자, 먼저 베스트샷 3위는 2015년 챔피언 남달라 박성현 선수의 샷입니다. 최종 라운드 파4 11번 홀, 박성현 선수의 두 번째 샷이 몇 번의 바운드 후 깃대 근처에 정확하게 안착했는데요. 다시 한번 보실까요? 박성현 선수가 두 번째 샷으로 그린을 공략했는데요. 잘 날아간 공이 홀 1m 부근에 뚝 떨어졌습니다. 정교한 샷감으로 버디 기회를 잡은 박성현 선수, 승기를 지키면서 생애 첫 우승까지 거머쥐었습니다. 이어서 베스트샷 2위입니다. 2009년 챔피언 서희경 선수의 버디 퍼트인데요. 홀까지 거리는 약 6m, 서희경 선수가 정확하게 공을 떨어뜨리며 마지막 홀에서 극적인 버디를 잡았습니다. 17번 홀까지 김보경 선수와 동타를 이룬 서희경 선수, 마지막 홀에서 짜릿한 버디를 성공하며 메이저 첫 우승을 역전 우승으로 장식했습니다. 베스트샷 1위는 2006년과 2008년 두 번 우승을 기록한 신지혜 선수가 차지했습니다. 이 샷은 2006년 우승 당시의 샷인데요. 파4 17번 홀에서 두 번째 샷을 한 신지혜 선수, 완벽에 가까운 샷을 선보였습니다. 정교한 샷이 아주 일품이었는데요. 바로 전홀에서 버디를 잡고 한타차 선두로 올라선 신지혜 선수. 자, 우승을 위해선 확실한 한 방이 필요한 순간이었습니다. 그린에 떨어진 공이 굴러굴러 홀 근처에 정확하게 도착했는데요. 자, 완벽한 샷감으로 타수를 줄이면서 2006년 한국 여자 오픈의 주인공이 됐습니다.
I'm on a long par 4 here, green side, and not untypically I've hit a pretty poor shot to the right of the green. I have the ball sitting down in rough, and I am short-sided with the green way above me. I basically got to hit a short-sided flop. What to do? How do I execute? Obviously you're going to need the face open, the ball just slightly forward so that we can get a lot of loft on the club, and then to keep the loft, you need to make sure that the club passes my stable lower body, and you can see the club face is pointing right to the sky. What's the typical mistake? Well, anytime I'm releasing the club this way, I can't afford to tilt. I can't afford to shift my legs and lean back, because if I do, I'm going to blade it across the green. So, stable lower body, open club face, a lot of loft on the club, let that club pass, nice quiet knees. It should look something like that.
you're hitting some chips fat, which is not a fun shot when you're this close to the hole. Most likely it's a fault that's in your setup. If you get set up to the ball with the handle forward, your weight forward, but your head and your sternum way back here, you're setting yourself up for the club to bottom out behind the ball, which is basically creating that fat chip. So we want to make sure in your setup that you're giving yourself the best chance. Let's make sure your upper body and your lower body are stacked on top of each other. Ball position slightly back in your stance, but I want the handle just kind of at your belly button, maybe just slightly forward to your belly button. I want to be able to set this club so it can swing through the turf correctly. Every time you push the handle forward, that club is now a digger. And we don't want that club digging. We want it brushing the grass and sliding under the ball just slightly to make nice clean contact. Secondly, keep the grip pressure relaxed. If you're squeezing the handle, you're slowing and stopping down the club head. So we're going to keep a good setup, more centered over the ball, sternum just slightly forward, nose basically kind of right over the ball. We're going to test the ground and take a couple little practice swings, letting it brush the grass, then simply set up, look, and go. So if you set up to the ball correctly, and if you keep your grip pressure nice and relaxed so the club can move evenly through the ball, you're going to make nice clean contact and eliminate the fat chips.
I'm here today to talk about chipping from the fringes of the green, the chip and run. As you can see here in front of me, the flag is only about 10 or 12 yards on the green. So I have a choice. I use a 5-iron sometimes, or an 8-iron, or a wedge. I don't want quite so much roll here, so I'm going to use my pitching wedge. I want to also stress is the technique is the same for all the clubs. I'm not going to change my technique. I see this shot as almost like an extension of the putt, which means there's not going to be any wrist break in the backswing, any wrist break in the follow through. I'm just going to rock the shoulders nicely back and through, maintain a nice smooth rhythm, and get to feel that the club just actually brushes the grass. Brushes, no digging, no hands in front, no digging of the club into the ground. Let's have a go. I feel like from here I can get the ball on the green, and then it just releases the hole. And that's the chip and run with the wedge.
You're an inexperienced player. I'm going to give you some basics on how to hit a chip shot. This is going to help you get up and down more. Remember, this is very similar to a putt. Whatever club you have in your hand, you're going to turn it into your putter. So you're going to stand a little closer. You're going to put it more off the toe to get the heel up in the air. So if this set's flat, you're going to stand it a little more upright like a putter. And once you do that, you're going to put the ball in the middle of your stance. You've got a narrower stance than a putter. Your weight's going to be slightly left. This is going to let the club come down. This will get the ball up in the air. And then all you're going to do from here is just swing your arms back and through. The ball goes in the air and it runs to the hole. This is the quickest way to get up and down. This is the basic chip shot.